All right, thanks, guys. We're coming off a 4-1 day on our premium selections on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also 10-1-1 in our last 12 college football plays on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, we have ourselves a nice full slate of Major League Baseball action here today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. The weekend is almost here. All right, the Nationals are taking on the Cardinals, 1:15 Eastern first pitch in St. Louis. The Nats are minus 170, total 7.5. 59% are leaning Washington, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, St. Louis is plus 155 on the money line. The Nats are plus 105, laying the 1.5. We have Max Scherzer for the Nats, Adam Wainwright for the Cards. Wainwright comes into this game with a 4.00 ERA and a 1.38 whip. He's also walked 61 batters on the year. Now Scherzer on the other side for Washington, 10-6 on the season, 2.65 ERA, 1.03 whip. He's also struck out 222 batters. St. Louis has lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're also just 3-5 in their last 8. They rank 24th in hits, 22nd in striking batters out at home. Now Washington on the other side, they are in first place in the wild card race in the National League. They're 83-67 overall for the year, 47-30 ATS on the road. And of course, when I refer to ATS, against the spread, covering all that good stuff, I'm referring to the run line. So once again, Washington 47-30 against the spread on the road. They rank second in road hits allowed. I'm going to lean Washington minus 1.5 in the over 7.5 in that game. Next matchup, Mets, Rockies, 310 Coors Field. The Mets are minus 155, total of 13. Saw a nickel fade of New York in the early wagering. The Mets open $1.60, down to 155, totals at 13. 65% are leaning Mets, 62% shaded toward the under. Right now, Colorado's plus 145 on the money line. We have Noah Syndergaard for the Mets, Jeff Hoffman for the Rockies. Hoffman's 2-6 with a 7.03 ERA, 1.67 whip. Syndergaard on the other side for New York, 10-8 on the year, 1.19 whip. He's also struck out 180 batters. The Mets are 8th in hits, 6th in strikeouts. They've also won 6 out of their last 9 ball games. They're 7-3 in their last 10 when traveling. The Rockies on the other side, they're dead last in the NL West. They also rank dead last in runs allowed at home and last in hits allowed at home. And when it comes to the number, Colorado's 5-1 to the under in their last 6 taking on the Mets. New York's 80% to the under in their last 5. I'm going to lean Mets minus 155 and the under 13 in that game. Next matchup, Royals, A's, 337 Oakland. The A's are minus 225, total 9.5. Saw a nickel fade of Oakland in the early wagering. The A's open 230, down to 225, totals 9.5. 72% are leaning Oakland, 60% shaded toward the under. Right now, Kansas City's plus 210 on the money line. The A's are minus 120 on the run line. With Danny Duffy for Kansas City, Homer Bailey for Oakland. Bailey's 13-8 with 135 strikeouts. He's also 6-2 with the Athletics with a 1.24 whip. Now Danny Duffy on the other side for Kansas City, just 6-6 on the year, 4.55 ERA, 1.36 whip. The Athletics are in first place in the AL wildcard standings. They're 30 games over 500 at 91-61 overall for the season. They've also successfully won in 7 out of their last 8 ball games. One more thing to add about the A's, they rank 6th in runs allowed. Now, Kansas City on the other side, they're just 27-49 on the road this year. They've also dropped 8 out of their last 11 head-to-head matchups with Oakland. The Royals rank dead last in striking batters out. Now, total-wise, Kansas City 4-2 to the under in their last 6 in Oakland. Meanwhile, the A's are 43-34 to the under at home. I'm going to lean Oakland minus 1.5 and the under 9.5 runs in that game. And before we, go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and just welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's Major League Baseball action. And once again, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. The weekend is almost here. Now, before we go ahead and move on, Just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site. We have a bunch of different memberships and packages, and they begin at just $1.99 per month. Now, we went 4-1 in our 5 premium plays yesterday on that website. That's 80%. So if you were linked up yesterday to everything, you would have hit 80% yesterday. We're also 10-1-1 in our last 12 college football plays on that site. Like I said, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. If you wanted to go 10-1-1 in college football, that's just a $14.99 per month package. I mean, that's peanuts compared to what you would make. That's 8+ units if you were betting college football utilizing patreon.com. So anyway, that is my website. There's plenty of free information there as well, including my current record. Click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive back into some more lines of personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Marlins taking on the Diamondbacks, 3:40 Eastern. First pitch in Arizona. The D-backs are 175, total at 9. Nickel move toward Arizona, no movement on the total. The D-backs open 170 up to 175, total at 9. 59% are leaning D-backs, 63% shaded toward the under. Right now the Marlins are plus 165 on the money line. Arizona plus $1.15, laying the 1.5. Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins. Mike Leake for the D-backs. Leake's 11-11 with a 4.39 ERA. He's also just 2-3 with the Diamondbacks this year, 1.42 WHIP with the ball club. Now, Sandy Alcantara on the other side for the Marlins comes into this matchup with a 3.93 ERA and 137 strikeouts. Now, Arizona's dropped 8 out of their last 10. They also rank 20th in home hits. Miami on the other side, winners in 2 out of their last 4. They're also 39 and 34 against the spread away from home. They rank 6th in hits allowed when traveling as well. Total-wise, Arizona 5-2 to the under in their last 7 at home. Miami 46 and 27 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Marlins plus 1.5 and the under 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Angels, Yankees, 635, New York. The Yankees are minus 300, totals at 10. Nickel fade of New York, moving downward on the total. The Yankees open 305, down to 300. Total open 10.5, down to 10. 70% are leaning Yankees, 80% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Angels are plus 270 on the money line. Yankees minus $1.50, laying the 1.5. Dylan Peters for the Angels, CC Sabathia for the Yankees. Sabathia is just 5-8 with a 4.95 ERA, 1.39 WHIP. Peters on the other side for the Angels, 3-3 on the year, 48 strikeouts in just 59 innings pitched. The Angels rank 6th in offensive walks on average per game, 2nd in offensive strikeouts. They're also 40 and 36 against the spread on the road. The Yankees on the other side, losers in 2 out of their last 4. They also rank 19th in offensive walks at home, 17th in offensive strikeouts at home. Now, total-wise, the Angels are 13 and 7 to the over in their last 20 ball games, taking on the AL East. I'm going to lean Angels plus 1.5 in the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Blue Jays, Orioles, 705 Baltimore. Pretty much a coin flip in this one. Both teams minus 105, total of 9.5. Now, Baltimore did open up as the favorite, and we saw a nickel fade of the Orioles in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. Baltimore open $1.10, down to 105. Total open 10, down to 9.5. 63% are leaning Toronto, 58% shaded toward the over. Right now, Baltimore's plus 170 on the run line. We have Clay Buchholz for the Blue Jays, Dylan Bundy for the Orioles. Dylan Bundy's just 6-14 with a 4.99 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. Baltimore is dead last in runs allowed on average per game, 28th in hits allowed at home. I'm going to lean Toronto minus 105 in the over, 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Mariners, Padres, 705 Pittsburgh. In this particular ball game, we are seeing the Pirates as the $1.15 favorite, total of 9.5. We did see a 15-cent fade of Pittsburgh and movement downward on the total. The Pirates open $1.30, down to 115. Total open 10, down to 9.5. 61% are leaning Pittsburgh, 83% shaded toward the over. Right now the Mariners are plus 105 on the money line. Pittsburgh plus $1.70, laying the run and a half. We have Justin Dunn for the Mariners, Dario Agrazal for the Pirates. Agrazal is 4-4 with a 4.91 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Pittsburgh just 31-42 at home, 27th in runs allowed at home as well. The Mariners on the other side, winners in their last 3 straight. They're also 40-36 against the spread away from home. They rank 5th in offensive walks. Now total-wise, Pittsburgh 9-4 to the over in their last 13. I'm going to lean Mariners plus 105 in the over 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Giants, Red Sox, 7-10 Boston. The Red Sox are 165, total at 10. We saw a 10-cent move toward Boston, movement downward on the total. The Red Sox open $1.55 up to 165. Total open 10.5 down to 10 flat. 54% are leaning Boston, 68% shaded toward the over. Right now, San Francisco is plus 150 on the money line. The Red Sox plus $1.10, laying the run and a half. We have Jeff Samardzija for the Giants, Jhoulys Chacin for the Red Sox. Chacin's 3-10 with a 5.4. Try that again. Chacin's 3-10 with a 5.44 ERA. Jeff Samardzija on the other side for the Giants comes into this matchup with a 3.72 ERA and a 1.12 WHIP. He's also struck out 133 batters. Boston has won just 3 out of their last 9. They've also dropped 5 out of their last 6 at Fenway. They rank 21st in runs allowed at home, last in walks allowed at home as well. The Giants on the other side, winners in 3 out of their last 4. They're also very good covering the run line when traveling. They're 47-28 ATS away from home. When it comes to the total, San Fran's 4-2 to the over in their last 6 on the road. Boston 4-2 to the over in their last 6, taking on the Giants. I'm going to lean Giants plus 1.5 and the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Tigers, Indians, 7-10 Cleveland. The Indians are the $3 favorite, total at 9.5. We saw a 10-cent move toward Cleveland in the early wagering. The Indians open 290, up the 300, totals 9.5. 74% are leaning Cleveland, 70% shaded toward the under. Right now the Tigers are plus 275 on the money line. The Indians minus $1.50 on the run line. We have Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers, Aaron Savale for the Indians. Savale comes into this game with a 1.93 ERA, 1.05 WHIP. He's also struck out 38 batters and 46 innings pitched. Spencer Turnbull on the other side for the Tigers, just 3-15 on the year, 4.77 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. The Indians are just a half a game back for that second wild card spot in the American League. They're 88-63 overall for the year, 7-3 in their last 10. The Tigers on the other side, one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history. They're also 45-105 on the year. Most likely will not get to 50 wins. Now, total-wise, Detroit is 4-2 to the under in their last 6, 9-2 to the under in their last 11. I'm going to lean Indians minus 1.5 and the under 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Phillies, Braves, 7:20 Atlanta. The Braves are minus 150, total at 10. 20-cent fade of the Braves in the early wagering. Atlanta open 170, down to 150, totals at 10. 69% are leaning Braves, 60% shaded toward the over. Right now the Phillies are plus 140 on the money line. Braves plus $1.25, laying the run and a half. We have Zach Eflin for the Phils, Julio Teheran for the Braves. Teheran's 10-9 with a 3.50 ERA and 155 strikeouts. Zach Eflin on the other side for Philadelphia, just 8-12 on the year, 4.20 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. Atlanta's in first place in the NL East, 93-59 overall for the year. They have a pretty good shot at getting 100 wins. They also rank 6th in scoring on average per game, 3rd in offensive walks. Now the Phillies on the other side, winners in just 34 out of 71 on the road. They also rank 23rd in hits, 20th in road scoring. And when it comes to the total, Philadelphia is 80% to the under in their last 5. Atlanta 10-5 to the under in their last 15. I'm going to lean Atlanta Braves minus $1.50 and the under 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Padres, Brewers, 7:40 Milwaukee. The Brewers are minus 140, totals at 8. We saw a 10-cent fade of Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Brewers open $1.50 down to 140. Total open 9 down to 8. 67% are leaning Brewers, 70% shaded toward the under. Right now the Padres are plus 130 on the money line. Milwaukee's plus $1.45, laying the 1.5. We have Danielson Lamet for the Padres, Adrian Hauser for the Brewers. Hauser 6-6 with a 3.84 ERA. Lamet's 2-5 with a 4.06 ERA. Milwaukee's 45-31 at home this year, winners in 9 out of their last 10. They rank first in home offensive walks, fifth in home strikeouts. They're also tied for that second wildcard spot in the National League. Now the Padres on the other side, 6-game losing streak, 29th in hits on average per game, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. I'm going to leave Milwaukee minus 140 in the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, White Sox, Twins, 740 Minnesota. The Twins are the $3 favorite, total 10.5. We saw a 25-cent move toward Minnesota, movement upward on the total as well. The Twins open 275 up to 300. Total open 10 up to 10.5. 72% are leaning Twins, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now the White Sox are plus 270 on the money line. The Twins minus $1.50 on the run line. We have Ivan Nova for the White Sox, Jake Odorizzi for the Twins. Odorizzi's 14-6 with a 3.60 ERA, 162 strikeouts. Ivan Nova on the other side for Chicago, just 10-12 on the season, 4.86 ERA, 1.46 WHIP. Minnesota is in first place in the AL Central. They also rank second in scoring, first in hits. The White Sox on the other side, they are 20 games under 500, just 65-85 overall for the year. They've also won just 30 out of 76 when traveling. They've dropped 6 out of their last 7 games, and they rank 26th in scoring on average per game. Now, total-wise, Minnesota is 11-4 to the under in their last 15. I'm going to lean Twins minus 1.5 and the under 10.5 in that game. Next matchup, Reds, Cubs, 8:05 Chicago, Wrigley Field. The Cubs are 175, totals at 9. Saw a 15-cent fade of Chicago. They open $1.90 down to 175, totals at 9. 67% are leaning Cubs. And at the moment, the Cincinnati Reds are plus 160 on the money line. We have Tyler Mahle for the Reds, Big John Lester for the Cubs. Lester's 13-10 with 156 strikeouts. Tyler Mahle on the other side for the Reds, just 2-11 on the year, 5.11 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. Chicago is tied with Milwaukee for that second wildcard spot in the National League. The Cubs are also virtually unbeatable at home. They're 51-25 at Wrigley Field this year. 4th in home offensive walks, 4th in runs allowed at home as well. Now, total-wise, Cincinnati 47-30 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Chicago Cubs minus $1.75 and the under 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Rangers, Astros, 8-10 Houston. The Astros are the $4.75 favorite, total at 8.5. Now, we did see a 10-cent fade of Houston. They actually opened up $4.85. But once again, the Stros opened $4.85 down to $4.75. Totals 8.5. 71% are leaning Houston. 67% shaded toward the under. Right now, Texas is plus 390 for an outright win. Houston minus 200, laying the 1.5. We have Colby Allard for the Rangers. Garrett Cole for the Astros. Of course, Garrett Cole's been awesome this year, but Colby Allard's 4-0 on the year. He struck out 30 batters in 37 innings pitched. This price is too good. I cannot fade Texas in this spot here. Give me the Rangers plus 1.5 and the under 8.5. All right, guys, we're going to slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. We're leaning Rangers plus 1.5 under 8.5. Cubbies minus 175 under 9 runs. Brewers minus 140 over 8 runs. Dodgers minus 130 over 8.5. Twins minus 1.5 under 10.5. Atlanta minus 150 under 10 runs. Giants plus 1.5 over 10 runs. Cleveland minus 1.5 under 9.5. We also have Toronto minus 105 over 9.5. Seattle plus 105 over 9.5. Angels plus 1.5 over 10 runs. Marlins plus 1.5 under 9 runs. Athletics minus 1.5 under 9.5. Mets minus 155 under 13. And last but certainly not least, we have the Nationals minus 1.5 and the over 7.5 in that game. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into our shout-outs brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Not a whole lot of them, but got to give a shout out to Sal Contreras, Charlotte P., A&M TV, who hit a 9-teamer the other day, a 9-team parlay, won about $800 off a $2 bet, I believe it was. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Choose Freedom Ligs. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site, and those packages begin at just $1.99, not a week, not a day, a month. $1.99 per month. There's plenty of different packages and memberships there as well. And like I said, we went 4-1 in our premium selections yesterday on that website. We're 10-1-1 in our last 12 college football picks on that site as well. And actually, we only made 12 picks. We are 10-1-1 on the season right now in college football. And that package is just $14.99 per month. Incredible value, especially if you're a $100 bettor. You're well over $800 worth of profit. We are well over 8 units in that particular tier. There's plenty of free content on that site as well, including my current record. So if you guys want to check that out, you can certainly do that as well. Link for that site is in the description section below. But most importantly, I got to thank you for watching me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to subscribe to me, so as soon as I do an upload, it'll go right to your phone. It'll notify you. But really, I got to get those likes up, because the more likes we get on these videos, the better or the higher ranking it gets in the algorithm. So do me a favor, just hit that like button real quick. Doesn't really even cost you all that much time. You can hit that like button while the video is playing. But anyway, got to thank you guys for watching me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Wednesday to you. Best of luck to you. And as always, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.